here for the hang.
So excited.
I'm your host, Carlisle Forrester.
I'm your co-host, Bryan Agnew. We're here with Jonathan Kite.
Yes.
Hi.
Jonathan Kite.
Comedian, actor, two broke girls.
Yes, sir.
Overall, just the man.
Yes.
I wonder if they're picking up the eyes right away. You know, when you like, not when you're high, guys, don't do drugs, but when you're like, do they think I am? I had my pupils dilated.
Yes. Coming straight from the optometrist.
Yes. And so I drove here and not a good idea. They need to give you a warning because like everybody was like green light the whole time. I'm like, shouldn't I be waiting this out? They're like, you're good.
No, it's fine. Just go.
It is not good.
Oh, wow.
But I'm settling.
You're seeing everything at 16K. That's
I
good.
really feel good.
Wow.
I feel like an LG screen right now.
Yeah, taking it
I
all.
feel
You know what?
I'm 1,500 at Costco right now.
You're right in with the theme of the pod because last week I had on sunglasses because I had blepharitis.
What is
Have
that?
you ever heard of blepharitis?
This is a wild one.
It's Latin for ugly bitch. Basically, I just woke up and my eye was completely swollen.
I was going to ask if it was pink eye.
No, it's
Dude,
not pink eye.
Is it stink eye?
No, it's very different. It's just the lid. The eye was fine.
Was it a sty?
No, I thought it was a sty at first. It was blepharitis. It's a thing that can happen.
It was swollen.
It was very swollen, and it's just something got in, just something, maybe
Yeah.
from the fires, maybe from like people just using blowers willy-nilly
I
all
love
over
that
the
you said
city.
the fires. They were 2 months ago.
I mean,
That's like long COVID for some people.
it's so
How
true.
people are like, bro, sorry I'm late, long COVID.
It's
You're like,
long
bro,
COVID.
it is 2025.
Yeah.
How long is that COVID?
Yeah.
Apparently 5 minutes long because that's how late you are.
Yeah.
But the fires, that is something
Something got in.
You hit on that though. That is something that people are going to be saying
They're going
in
to be
LA.
saying for a while.
for sure.
And obviously thoughts and prayers, like not making light of the thing.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But people will be blaming like, dude, it must be the fires.
Oh, lawsuit
But
after
also,
lawsuit.
don't you
Come on.
find that a lot of people in this town use blowers unnecessarily? Like the garden blowers?
So I absolutely. So speaking of COVID, when we would have to do self tapes from home, or like I'd have to record voiceovers and stuff, we would have in my neighborhood lawn care teams. Each unit, I lived in like fourplexes, like a block of them, would have a different one, and they were scheduled at different times during the day. So they would teams would never be like competing for being the most annoying guy in the world.
Right.
And I was, even in the winter, I'm like, this looks like the Dust Bowl. This looks like the Great Depression.
it's horrible.
wild.
There's
yeah.
no crop being grown here. You're blowing dirt
Everywhere,
This
dude.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they do it so that they can, I think so that they go, we'll do 52 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
come rain or shine.
We got you.
We had the sprinklers going that was just literally wetting dirt.
Yeah. No, they'll just
There's
get
no
blowed around.
lawns. Like they're literally just blowing concrete
Yeah.
everywhere I go. I feel like so there's stuff shooting into the air.
100%.
I've had this blepharitis like come back. It's been like twice now.
In your neighborhood, do you find that a lot?
Yes, and also I do like a food delivery service for my I'm not gonna say which one
I thought
because
you
I
were
don't
going
want
to
to
say
get
I
kicked
drive a
off.
lawnmower. I'm a part of the problem.
There's so many times where I'm walking and I have my hands full and I can't put my sunglasses down or shield and I'm like, this guy's gonna he's gonna fuck my eye. Like it's just happening and I'm walking past and somebody's just a lot of unhoused people have them.
Yeah,
Have you noticed this?
I have.
They're just,
I've not noticed that.
blowing up.
I've not noticed the homeless with that.
Yes.
No.
They're starting to
they're
get
blowing
like
their
Mad
alleys.
Max tools.
I've noticed.
Yeah,
I've
they're-
seen some like
they're
YouTube
building-
videos, street fights.
Yeah, there's going to be like a Krang, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style.
Oh, for sure.
They're building.
Yes.
I'll tell you one time I did have something. I was walking across the street to a CVS and a leaf the size of like a small water beetle, it like completely got in my eye.
Oh,
And it was like I couldn't get it out. It like went behind my eye.
Oh, dude, that's
it's a part of you now.
Dude, I'm part tree. 23andMe came
It's in
back.
you now. Yeah.
Dude, Arbor Day is for my people.
Yeah.
And
100%.
yeah,
100%.
and so it's
You're
like
4% eucalyptus.
yo, I was really affected by the fires. My people were, but
It's a really hard time.
dude, for reals. And so it's like I don't even use toilet paper, but it's like it is a weird. Your eyes are so sensitive. We don't realize that.
Yeah.
Like
That's
when we
crazy.
rub them, like it's like we don't put dirty hands in our mouths, but we don't realize that this
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
I know. I have a new gratitude for my eyes now. I'm saying it every day. Like, whew, I'm glad I woke up. Don't have swollen ball sack on my face of any kind.
Did it go away on its
Like,
own?
No, I had to go to the eye doctor. I mean, I had to go to the urgent care.
You had to go a
slash-
couple times.
Yeah, I had
and
to
you
go a
had
couple
to do
times.
some at-home remedies.
And now I have, I put tea bags on my. You ever do that? That cures styes. Anybody watching, you have a sty that, because that's what I thought it was. So I was just teabagging my face every night.
Clip it.
Which I do a lot anyway. But this time it was for
Already.
medical reasons.
Clip it. When I have a sty, because I feel like I rub my eyes too much.
Yeah.
And so I will take like a warm, like a paper towel and put it under warm water and just press on it.
Hot compress.
Yeah. And I feel like that really goes away. But I remember there was this one, I was filming and there was one that was like, it was definitely a sty. And there's footage where it's just me like looking like the fucking hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's the only thing
Sloth from the
that
Goonies.
I can 100%. I'm like, hey, you guys, like, that's not your line. We're going to go from the top. It was so gross. And I go, I don't know where. And the thing is, people are noticing it. It's like it's like, that's the thing. Like if you have like a pimple or something, or like, I guess when we were younger, like a hickey, it's like, that was something that's like, people don't notice. But if there's something in your eye, like when people have pink eye,
oh, you noticed.
I was like, why are you my server at Cheesecake Factory?
Exactly.
You gotta go home.
Who let you wear goggles?
Well,
Can you imagine?
pink eye, we know where that comes from now. So
Yes, we do.
you
Fecal
know,
matter.
Yeah.
Right.
You're a disgusting.
That's why I said I can't believe it's
human.
not called stink eye.
It should be called stink eye.
called stink eye.
I've never had anything with the eyes, but I've had dreams. You guys ever had the dreams that you can't really see, like it's too bright? You guys ever have that dream?
No, tell me.
Oh, really?
A dream?
No, it's just like a recurring, like feeling like you have something in your eye.
Okay.
I
But
thought
it's
you
not-
meant that this was a dream you had.
No, that's what I'm saying. This
Oh.
is like kind of a recurring feeling in a dream. It's not exactly something that happens specifically in the dream, but it's like the feeling that you have something in your eye you can't really see. At some point that occurs, and you're just like a little bit like, whoa.
I don't have
And then
that
I
one.
wake up. It's a weird one.
But not
I'm
in
gonna have to look
but
into
not in
that.
reality. You've
In
never had?
reality, nothing happening with the eyes. I use eye drops every day. That's maybe not good though.
It's
And we know
not
why.
good.
It's not good at all, right?
No.
That's because you
Smoke?
Yeah.
Not every day, Carlisle. I have to go to work.
What are you, a cop?
Narc.
Yeah. I can see your wire.
For real.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. Welcome back to the Narc Pod. We bring people on. Just
Blowing
get
me
them to
up.
out their drug usage. So tell them about that time you sold crack to kids.
Yeah.
How was
We
that?
got him. This isn't even a studio. The walls just fall down. That isn't a microphone. It's another cop who just Mission Impossible's in.
Chris Hansen pops in.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
There's also children. Wow, we're busting everybody.
Oh, it's all the things.
That's at a table. It's a child.
Yeah.
It's bait.
We're switching rooms. It's all, yeah, exactly.
That's what this whole studio is.
Yeah. It's all set up.
But so whenever you had the thing on your eye, was that on set? You said,
Yeah, it was on set.
Would they had to just like shoot around it or reshoots or
They couldn't shoot around it.
They added that.
it goes with your character.
It actually was when I was on Two Broke Girls. And I remember I sort of did this thing with my eye normally on the show sometimes, and I just really did it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's like I blew it up so much in my head. I have no idea if people really could see it.
Yeah.
But just I could feel it.
Right.
Like something that was haunting me, like something in like an Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah.
But you could lean
Mine,
into it with
I
the
took
character. It's
a
good.
real knock on my self-confidence and self-esteem.
Did
Yeah,
anybody
she's been
ask
talking
you,
about it
like,
for about 3 weeks. now.
Sorry.
It's been 3 weeks. It's lingering.
She
PTSD
goes,
is
it's the
what it
fires.
is.
Trust me, it's going to go on forever.
yeah.
She's still talking about the fires.
She's seeing out the lawsuit right now as we speak.
Did
This is
anybody
a through line?
Was anybody like? Did people ask you like?
I couldn't
Are
work.
you okay?
Like, I had to like wear sunshades at work because I'm a waitress,
Right.
and nobody wants to be waited on by somebody that may or may not have pink eye, as you said. And that's what people assume.
You should just say like, somebody hit me.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, yeah. So
I
your
will-
boss.
That's what I mean. You're making better tips that way.
Yeah.
but I missed my headshots by 1 week, so praise God.
Praise
Because you know
Allah.
how it is. You got to set up a shoot.
Praise
You
be.
got to like, what was I going to do? Reschedule the day of?
Nah, you
No,
can't
it's
do that.
tough.
It's tough. You still take us back through your like booking and everything because you were on a show.
Yeah,
So you probably don't have to worry about headshots anymore, or do you?
I haven't taken headshots in, oh my God, almost 20 years.
See that
awesome.
right
Cool.
there. I mean, that's how you know.
You know
you've
what's
made
funny
it.
though is it's not, I'm not sure. I guess I'm not aware because I don't self-submit.
Yeah.
So if the agents call me or the managers and they'll be like, what does your hair look like right now? Which I'll get asked a lot. They're
Right.
like, and I'll just be like, oh, it's kind of longish or whatever. And they'll be like, okay, cool, hang tight. So they never are like, after I booked a job, they were like, can you take a photo of your hair right now? Because we want to see if you want to cut it. But that was the only time they asked me.
Right.
And
So-
would you cut it? Like, would you do a roll if they were like, you have to shave your head?
Yeah.
That'd be
I
fun,
mean,
right?
I think
Shave it real
low
quick.
maintenance. I mean, to me, I don't really care. It's crazy because headshots, because of social media, I'm like, and I know there are filters, but it's like when people give a headshot, everything is being submitted electronically. So unless something looks wildly not like you,
Yeah.
like maybe if you change your hair color, like I think men not as much,
Yeah.
I could see getting new shots. But like, yeah, the stuff that I haven't taken headshots in so long.
And you're active on social media. You're putting out YouTube stuff all the time. Like, there
are clips of me
people
of
look
what
real quick.
And I
what's
always
going on.
I've always looked 52. So it's like there is a
damn
shot
good
of me,
52.
dude. I appreciate that.
You
I
know?
wanted to
You're
do
looking good.
when I was 30. I wanted to do a stand-up special that said I look good for 50,
Yeah.
and then have people go like, "You do look good for 50," and I'm like, "Cause I'm 30, bitch."
Yeah.
But you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I think that if I match the age range, I think, you know, they're okay with it. Like if they're aware of me and they're like, it could be 30 to 45 or 35 to 50, who knows, they'll see me.
Yeah.
You know, they're not, you know, they always ask for your height, which is so funny to me. But yeah, I guess headshots, because let me ask you, so you get your headshots.
Mhm.
What do you do with these headshots? What do you do with them?
This is because, Jonathan, whenever you're not successful,
No, but
you will hear your agent or manager go, yeah, you know, we think it's the pictures.
oh, so
Sounds
they
smart.
asked you to get new headshots?
Yeah, we think, you know, we're just not getting a lot of traction. You're like, okay, well, I'll go spend whatever. Like,
What
you're
agent in
always
particular?
just-
Are these for theatrical? These for commercial?
for anybody that will have me. I'm trying to get, you know,
This is for a milk carton. In
yeah.
case you get lost. We just want to make sure.
Big Milk,
that
if
you're
you're
up.
listening. I've
Yeah,
been
big
trying.
kidnappers.
Please.
So, yeah.
So you get them done. Do they have a say on, like, do they want you to look like, because I know there's a lot of particulars, like, we really like you in green, or like we want you to
It's all
look
bullshit.
commercial. I think it is bullshit.
Yes.
But I'm just curious, did your agency?
It's funny because, like, for commercials
Yeah.
nowadays, they want you to not be that pretty.
Okay.
They want you to, like, tone it down. You know, you're gonna be going out for
Trust me.
mom. You're gonna be going out for this. Like, you want to be just run of the mill every lady.
I
Totally.
thought for commercials it was
so-
like very just like they want you to be ambiguous.
For commercials,
Like,
you know what they want
that's
you to be?
kind of the vibe.
You know what they want you to be,
Hmm.
young Bryan Agnew?
What do they want?
They love when you're a redhead.
Really?
Yeah, you
I
would
should start
kill-
auditioning.
You really
I don't do
could
that.
kill it because if they want
that
a
bullshit.
biracial gal
Okay.
with a redheaded guy.
Oh hell yeah!
Like, you need to get out
I
there.
can be that redheaded
Somebody-
You need to
gotta
get
be-
jungle fever, and you're gonna book.
guy, bro. I'll do it. Don't tempt me.
By the way, it's
How do I-
100% true. They,
Is that they're looking for redheads? Huh?
I think that
They
they're,
don't want whites.
well,
Whites are the minority of, or redheads are the minority of,
of the
That's-
whites.
that's
yes.
right.
It's not that. Can I tell you? I don't think that I don't think that there's like a color preference, but I do think that they're trying to reach as many people as they possibly can for advertising campaigns.
Right.
So
Totally.
I think that most of the time, like, you don't tend to see like same ethnic couples together. You know,
Yeah,
you see
anymore,
mix so that
you
you
don't
get like
ever
a mix
see
of
that.
people.
Totally.
But I think more what
For
they're looking for in commercials is interesting looking people
Mm.
that I think,
Character.
yeah, like I think characters, because I think that they want if the character is the central focus of it, they want somebody interesting. But if not, my take is they want something that's just going to be in the background and not take focus from the product itself.
100%.
But I do think there's a clear distinction. I think we do have sort of these outlandish, funny spots that are out there today.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think you have a lot of stuff like from Target, where there's just like a very pleasant looking woman who's looking at dish soap.
It's the product.
And it's just like she's assisting, she's, showcasing and not taking it away.
She's relatable.
This ain't a dish soap face.
Yeah,
They're like, this face pulls focus like a magnet. I did a couple commercials this year, and they were it was really, one of them was one of the most fun I've had on a commercial set. And it was about 7 of us. It was a family, myself, this wonderful, incredibly talented woman, and we had a son, and we were on a boat looking for walruses. And everybody on it was incredibly interesting looking. The salty dog who was like the seaman who's been at Clip It, who's been around forever. Truly, just such a fascinating looking man.
Yeah.
Just
I
like
love
a
a salty dog.
great. He is
bet,
an
Can you hook me
incredible
up?
actor.
Just talking about trying to get one last week.
Oh
yeah.
yes, he is a Gordon's fisherman.
I'm looking for a yacht
You'll love
rock
his fish
daddy.
stick.
Does he listen to Kenny Chesney?
What'd you say?
Does he listen to Kenny Chesney?
We didn't get that far.
Okay. Well,
It was only a 2-day shoot.
Carlisle's curious.
But
Anyway.
you're looking for walrus. Like, what is the product that you're?
So
Advertising. Can you say?
it's
nationwide.
E-Trade.
Oh, E-Trade.
No, it's E-Trade. But Morgan Stanley.
Okay.
But the thing about it that was so cool was it was such an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And when you see it and everybody there, I loved the way everybody looked. I mean, they were all fantastic actors, really funny people. The kid who played our son was fantastic. And everybody was really great, but it was just like, wow, you just looked around and you were like, look at all these cool looking people.
Yeah, interesting.
And so I think that really helps that spot out because it's such an insane premise. When you see it, you'll know it. It's just like us looking for walruses.
E-Trade commercials, I mean, like the old school ones with little babies, hilarious.
Dude.
Like those, like legacy wise, E-Trade, funny as fuck.
Funny.
Okay.
They have
Funny
great
spot.
people over
Oh,
there.
man.
Yeah, they're babies that talk like this.
Yeah.
That are playing tennis.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You know what I'm talking? Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they're
their
great.
retirement
They're
account, their 401k.
Yeah,
whatever.
they're incredibly, they're great.
Yeah.
But it's very, I think that that was something that was universal about it. But with commercials, I also think there is a person, how do I put this? There's a person who I think that people think represents their product. Mm-hmm. And I think that there
There's
are
a demographic.
Demographic, whether ethnicity, age, gender, it doesn't matter.
Totally.
It's just like they look at somebody and they go like, that guy looks like DraftKings.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that they are, excuse me, I think that they're really playing into that with commercials more than they maybe have been before. Mm-hmm. Is my assessment. Is you look at like those people look like that thing.
100%.
What about with like dramatic stuff?
Yeah.
So can you tell us how you got to Broke Girls? Because I love people's success stories.
Take us through the journey, man. Like started with acting, or was it comedy?
No, acting.
before?
I went to school for it, and then I had done. I did. Jamie Foxx they were doing A New and Living Color.
Okay, yeah.
And I auditioned for that. And we got that, and it was a very long process because we started off with a pilot, and they sort of let everybody go after the pilot except for me and like the main guy.
That's always a good sign.
And it is a good sign, but I think with sketch shows, they sometimes suffer from either not having a unified vision. Mm-hmm. So like the network has a very specific thing what they think sketches, like that in Living Color, Mad TV, Saturday Night Live, whatever. But those are 3 very different shows.
Right.
They just happen to fall under the category of sketch. Whereas like at least a sitcom, there's such a unifying, like a family where like the dad's this and the mom's this. You can play off of those type of archetypes. Mm-hmm. It's much harder to sketch show. So I think that they have the general idea of what they want. And I think that that's what it was, because we had so many talented people in that pilot. I mean, it was crazy how many people were.
That's cool.
And then they let everybody go.
How did they find you?
I had a manager who submitted a tape, and they had already like moved on, and he sort of like did the thing where he like very lovingly like forced a tape on someone. He was like called in a favor. He goes, you had seen this guy, this other guy, his client who you like. I have a guy who I think could be, you know, not better, but like, I think he's different. We weren't competing, you know, and, you know, she watched the tape with her husband, and she said, I mean, it was literally like a DVD. And she said, they called me in the next day to meet with the producers to do like a private like thing. She goes, we've sort of already gone to the next stage, but we think we could use someone like you. So I met with them. I did it all live because I think that's what they're trying to see, if you can like do the things live.
And what are the impressions you're doing at that point?
My
Because
God.
you're such a master impressionist.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
I mean, at that
Amazing range.
I didn't, you know, I didn't do it like thank you. Whatever you think of me today, it was not that.
Okay.
It was sort of like I had wanted to do, I kept getting submitted for sketch shows that like never went. Like in the early to the mid 2000s, there was a sketch show that didn't go at least once a year. And everyone was trying to do the new Mad TV, the new Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And I never got any of them. So I would go in like a couple times, and they would go like, who can you do impressions wise? And it was always like people that nobody wanted to see. It was like Tim Gunn, Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond. I think Christopher Walken, and like, I could do this old time actor, one of my idols, Wallace Shawn. He played Rex on Toy Story, and like maybe John Lithgow. Like I could do like but much older people, and nobody's like clamoring to put those in a modern sketch show.
Right.
And so then and one time I got really far, and they asked me, this was for another show, and they asked me, who else can you do that's on TV? And I lied, because, you know, for a show like that, for any pilot, you get like months to audition, you know, so I sort of thought like I'd have time to learn them.
Yeah.
So that I'm like, I can do Obama, I could do Vince Vaughn, I could do Nick Cage. They're like perfect. The callback is Monday. And this was a Friday. And I really freaked out. I had a moment of like, you know, I could call and be like, I lied, I couldn't do it. But I stayed home and I learned those 3 impressions. And so I just like watched, you know, whatever I did over and over.
What is your
again.
process? Just watching them
I just
over
watched the
and
movies
over?
over and over. And I went, I asked my cousin who is in music, and I said, who do I sound like? Who could I do?
Right.
And then I did those. I didn't get the show, but then I was like, maybe work on this. I sent in a tape for SNL. We got cool feedback. And
awesome.
They were like, we're looking for women this year, but you know, keep submitting or whatever. And then they're going to do a New and Living Color. Jamie Foxx is going to executive produce. They're looking for a Jim Carrey. That's all we heard. And so I was like, I'll just put down every white guy that I can do.
Yeah.
And then I did Seth Rogen. Oh God, who did I do? I think I did I must have done Vince Vaughn. I did Rush Limbaugh, Ian McKellen.
Nice.
And like Lord of the Rings was like, The Hobbit was still like, you know, I was trying to do things where I was like, you know, and I tried to do them in modern scenarios or whatever, you know? So I did those. And then they're like, they like you, come meet the executive producers. So I met Jamie's manager and the 2 other guys who wrote on Mad TV, these awesome writers that I was a big fan of their work. And they met with me. They were very kind. I did all my stuff. They were like, great, come to the callback. Then we had a callback at Sony. And then they were like, usually you get 5 minutes. That's like the old SNL thing or whatever. So but in that room, they were just like, keep going. So then so some people could do like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So they did it a lot, and we got on and we kept going, and I wound up getting the show. It was cool. But then they were like, we're going to revamp it. So you and this other guy are still in, but then they took a year. And while they were doing that year, I was auditioning for other things because it's like, you didn't know what was happening, when it was going to air, whatever.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for this other show that this woman had cast, who cast Jamie Foxx's show. And she brought me in. She goes, they're going to love you. And then she goes, have you heard of Michael Patrick King? I'm like, yeah, he's a guy from Sex and the City, right?
City, yeah.
I go, they're like, he's going to do a network sitcom. and it's with Kat Dennings. And I was like, oh wow, I'm a big fan of hers. I loved her, indie work. And he goes, can you do a Russian accent? She goes, and I go, yeah. She goes, come back. She goes, you won't get it because it's going to be a 50-year-old guy. It's the only white guy on the show, but at least you can meet Whitney Cummings and Michael Patrick King. And, and so I was like, wow, that's really fun. And I've never, I'd done a pilot and I'd done stuff before, but this was like something, the script was really funny. It's one of the only scripts I've read in the first round where it made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And then so I went to a Goodwill and I bought like clothes that I thought he would wear, like these clubbing pants that I hemmed up because that was like really in the early 2000s. And I wore an undershirt, a sleeveless undershirt, and I smeared mustard on it. And I had a hairnet, and I wore these like leather Gap flip-flops that I'd had since I was a kid with like these dirty white sweat socks. And I came in and I was joking around with everybody, and we were having so much fun. And then Whitney, who was at the end, and I had just seen her, she was crushing on the roasts. She was like the it girl, like really people were discovering what a genius she is. And
Totally.
I was like, I'm such a fan because I knew in my heart, I'm like, I'm wrong for this part. But I was like, thank you so much for seeing me. And I was like, that really meant a lot. And I'm a huge fan. I love you on the roast. I just watched it, this other night. She was, it was a very nice moment. And then I sort of was just like, I realized that I've been talking to all of you, but I only said hi to Whitney. It's because I haven't heard of the rest of you. I go, my name's Jonathan Kite. Let's start this audition. Because we've just been in there forever, as a joke or whatever.
Yeah.
And Michael laughed out loud. And he later told me, he was like, that was the moment that I cast you.
Cool.
Because he was just like this guy. He understood the moment. It was going too long.
Totally.
And he's a guy who's no bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to do something.
Yeah.
And it broke. And he immediately, and then I just did it. And we went through 3 months of auditions. And every time I thought, I'll never get this. And I would always be brought back with people that were much older than me.
So they're bringing like 50-year-old Russian men that are the
John
actual
Lovitz
part.
tried out for the part.
Whoa.
So it was something that, I think they didn't know what they wanted. And
Were
then
you nervous when you saw Lovitz? Because you're like, oh, well,
I didn't
he's a
see him at that
name
point.
and he's okay.
I think that they wanted kind of an unknown. And the thing was, my show, the sketch show hadn't aired yet. So what had happened was we shot the pilot.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So fun. And we were waiting to hear if we got picked up. We get picked up. The Fox, the other show airs on Fox, the sketch show. And at the party, everybody's like, hey, we're talking about season 2 or whatever. And I was like, I can't. I was like, I booked this other show because they didn't sign us for any contracts.
Oh,
So
right.
I don't personally, I don't know whatever happened. I'm not sure if there was a deal to do a second season. I had no idea because it wasn't I just wasn't a part of it.
Right.
And so then I just moved on and did the show.
It failed because they didn't have Jonathan Kite.
I mean, that is what I have told them.
Yeah. Didn't help.
No, they were, the people, that's the thing. It's like the people on that show, there was the talent on that other show, even afterwards when they revamped it, all those people have gone on to have unbelievable careers.
I feel like I remember it on Fox for the first season. I think
they promoted the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Especially because Jamie, is the best, and he was like Mr. Superstar. So he went out and did every damn talk show to make sure people watched it.
Right.
Like a true legend. And he really fought for a lot of stuff. It was cool to be on that side because we were in the writer's room and we had to write our own stuff, and we would write a table full of stuff, and then they would be like, they don't like any of it. Yeah. And so we were just there.
Just go back.
And it was really cool to work with people who had, really done it and were very successful. And yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
when you got to Broke Girls and you get that call, where were you? Take us through the moment. Because to me, it's this is what broke you. This is your big moment. So did you have an awareness of that? And that moment is going to change my life forever?
They told me that if the agent calls, you didn't get it.
Mm.
So what had happened was, I believe Les Moonves, fired Charlie Sheen on the day we tested.
Oh shit.
So the testing started late and I went in first. They did the 2 Olegs, the 2 Earls, and the 2 Hans went second. Han Lee, who was Matt Moy. So they did 2 and 2.
And Beth Beers and Kat are definitely in.
They had
already.
been cast. Kat was you know, the focal point.
Right.
She was our fortifying, you know, structure. Was everything. And then they tested a bunch of people around Beth. I mean, around Kat, but Beth was like the least known, but just the right thing. You know, she's just so talented, and it was and look at them. They just look perfect together, right?
Yeah.
It just looks, again,
Awesome.
they look like, that's what I always said about our show. We looked like a show. Same thing with a commercial. You got to look like a Target ad.
Yeah.
And so, you know, with our show, they brought me in first, and Julie Ashton, who's the casting director, she, you know, came up to me and she was like, we're starting late. I found out later they fired Charlie, and that's why everybody was late. And Les wasn't even at that tape or at that testing or whatever. So we go in, we test. It's like, I go first. I think it went fine. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I hit all the beats. They seemed to laugh. They liked me. Then we don't hear. And then I hear that they cast Garrett Morris and Matt Moy as the other 2 characters, because Matt and I have the same agent at the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but they haven't cast Oleg yet? And they're like, no, they don't like the other guys. It's only you that they're going to send to Les, but it's going to be like Gladiator. He's going to thumbs up or thumbs down you. And if he thumbs downs, they're going to go look for another Oleg. They just have to start from scratch. They don't like any of the other options. Mm-hmm. So then I take the day and I go, a dear, dear, dear friend of mine, John, an older guy who I'd met when I was working at a restaurant, and we'd go party at this bar afterwards. He had a lot of medical problems, and I thought he had passed away. And, you know, this guy was not like much older than me, maybe like 20 years, 25 years, but like he was somebody who he had a lot of health issues. And while I was auditioning, I found out that he was alive. And so I said to him, let's go out to lunch. I hadn't seen him in a very long time. And we went out to the bar during the day where we had met and hung out and been like good drinking buddies. Great guy. And then I went outside. I go, oh, this is my agent. I don't know who it is, or I'm getting a call. And the agent calls, and I went, fuck, I didn't get it. And then casting goes, I'm on the phone too. You got it.
Nice.
And I remember thinking, I didn't know that it was going to change my life, but the fact that I could book something at that level that I knew was not that my confidence needed help, but it does help to get wins.
It validated it.
Well,
in a way.
it made it feel like the choices that I was taking, that somebody was seeing those and they were responding to them.
Right.
Because a lot of times I go out for stuff that, like, I always joke with my reps who I love. I have great reps and I'm super thankful, but I'll go out for like, you know, like a guest star on CSI about a horse whisperer. And I'm like, I don't look like a horse whisperer. Like, I'm taking focus from the main guy.
Right.
I look like the stable boy that got kicked in the head. Like, I got a face that, for good or bad, I don't think that, like, I don't do Target commercials. Yeah. I have done a Target commercial, but it was a very specific, weird Target commercial.
Right.
So it's like, I'm not going to be that lovely woman looking at dials. So, like, I'm just not that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so I make a lot of choices that feel right to me that don't always connect with on the other side of the camera. Yeah. I mean, with what they're looking for.
Because they're strong choices. You kind of swing for the fence.
And I will tell you, the feedback that I've gotten is, you got to keep swinging. Like, from them, they're like, you're not right for this. You're too old. You're too young. You're too whatever.
Right.
But that strong choices for a guy that I think that looks like me, that's all you have. I have fastballs, because it's like, I'm not going to walk these dudes. I got to strike them out.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, I have different fastballs, and I think I can do a lot of different shit. But I think for me, like, you know, like in Shakespeare, in Midsummer Night's Dream, I'm not going to be Lysander or Demetrius. I'm going to be Nick Bottom, the guy who gets turned into a donkey. Like that's going to be me. Yeah. And so,
and you went to theater school. So are these roles that you played?
I didn't get a chance to play Nick Bottom, but that's something that I think that it's something that's aspirational to me. I want to play those parts that take fastballs. Yeah. It's not that I've tried to play those other things, but I think in a medium that is so focused on how people look initially, you know, like when you're getting reintroduced, when you're getting introduced to the world, that it's like, you have to be believable. So they had a very specific thing in mind for Oleg, and for whatever I was doing, they're like, that is working.
Yeah.
And so so that was, and then it was so fun. The pilot was so fun. And it was the best. It was like the best experience, and everybody on it was the best.
And how many seasons did it end up running for?
6.
A long time. Yeah. 6 seasons. That's solid.
A long time.
That's a long time.
138 episodes.
Wow.
Who were the other actresses they were like kicking around to play the Beth Beers role?
So I believe Hayden Panettiere auditioned. She tested, and I believe Hilary Duff.
Okay.
I think it was Hillary and Hayden and
then
her.
At that time they were names, but Beth
huge.
Really wasn't.
They were huge in 2011.
Hayden,
they were.
She was like
she was on top.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Hilary Duff, I mean,
was always
even now.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big
and
fan.
they're you know, it's like, that's the thing, is it's got to look right. That's the toughest thing I would say about, you know, going back to the headshots thing. Like, it has to, until you convince people that you are right and they buy you, you know, I think that a lot of times we get trapped in like what looks right and what doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And so
I think it's like you can never block what's meant for you. Like,
no.
Obviously, like that role, you
have to believe. And I believe if I go out for, you know, if I was to go out for one of those other parts in Midsummer Night's Dream, like I could believe I could play those parts, you know. Yeah. It's about convincing other people that you could play those parts.
And you play in that role so well, because it's like you have the ability to like kind of captivate and be funny and make people feel like this guy's big in that role.
Yeah,
right?
and relatable.
Like,
I try to.
It's like the comedic bone in your body almost. It's like you are able to do it. It's comfortable. It's authentic in a way.
You know, I actually feel more comfortable playing things like that than I do the horse whisperer on CSI.
Totally.
And like, I just, like, there's a hook. I can relate to guys like him. I enjoy, not even like big characters, because I played like smaller stuff. I mean, that was like 4 cameras, so it's bigger, but it's like, I enjoy, like, not that you don't find the horse whisperer interesting, but it's like there's something instantly magnetic. I got it right away.
Yeah.
I was like, I see what they're trying to do, or at least what I think they're trying to do. Yeah. And I thought, what can I bring to it?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that is, I mean, that's what's great about, you know, stand-up.
I was going to say, I feel like it translates well.
Yeah. You're very magnetic on stage.
Oh, thanks.
Dude, I think. What do you like
Amazing
more
performer.
between acting and stand-up, if you had to pick one?
I would, it's hard. I maybe would have said stand-up is very not what it is right now because of the social media aspect. Like the amount of business.
You're so good at that.
That you have to, well, I thank you. I'm terrible, but I get good people to edit for me.
The Anthony Bourdain.
Dude, yeah.
Is
I mean, that I appreciate. Can I tell you though? And I appreciate you so much for saying that. But you know, I did a series of a lot of stuff that didn't hit. Like the thing that's funny is, when I was talking to my writing partner and he was like, how is, you know, TikTok going? And I think, you know, I'd had one forever, but I never really took a stab at it ever.
Yeah.
And I read up on it, and I got involved with some friends of mine who were getting good at it. And I was like, what does it take? And they go, well, you got to put out like a video a day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that is a lot. That's not what I'm used to. I don't really do that with any platform that I've ever been on. Yeah. Because it's a job. And not in a bad way, not that like I'm not shying away from the work, but it's something that my brain isn't wired. And I don't mind doing that, but I go, well, what could we do? Like I look to see what was, not even what was working for other people, but like in myself, what could I do that maybe isn't getting on this app. I didn't want to be like the 10th dude to be doing, like something. And so I thought, I'll do some trends to help build my following, but I gotta do something where people go, you're the guy that does this.
Yeah.
Sure,
And I wrote a bunch of different stuff. Like I did a Sam Elliott video of him. By the way, check it out on TikTok because no one else has.
If I had TikTok, I'd check it out. But like, I don't think I can download it anymore.
I appreciate it. No, yeah. Well, it's something that.
But a shit ton of people still got it.
What'd you say?
I said, but a shit ton of people still have it.
Still, yeah, they still got it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's Sam Elliott being an advocate for women's products.
Oh my God.
So like he has the Brotherhood, which is it's a bra that he endorses. The Brotherhood about it, And then I did another. The first one was the Tampax Patriot.
Okay.
And I was trying to do like this whole thing, and when I tell you this shit, like it just didn't take off, and it was for whatever reason.
Idea too,
no, I appreciate it. But you have to. The thing is like I like doing the stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing the actual act of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so
being up there, having that rush, performing for people.
Yeah, connecting, telling jokes, really communicating.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorite things in the world. I don't like anything else about it.
Okay.
Like I don't like the social media. Like that and it's not even that I even when I was on Too Broke, I didn't really use the social media. Like, because they were like, you got to post about it. And we had a great PR team at Warner Brothers, but I was just like, yeah. And I would think about it like, oh shoot, we got to do that. It's something that I like the doing of it, not the promoting of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my issue. That's, so I think, the act of it, whereas I really like to write. Like I like the acting. I'm working on a screenplay right now that we're trying to shoot at the end of the year. And I love getting on every day. My writing partner and his wife, they just bought a house in Kentucky. And so we Zoom every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like that to me is exciting.
Yeah.
And so there's other aspects of it. And I like being in writers' rooms with people, like working on TV shows and doing writers' rooms. So I really like I like the sort of the collaborative nature of the other aspect. I actually like learning new impressions. I like writing for myself. I like writing the Anthony Bourdain stuff.
Yeah.
Which I do. I mean, I have a couple of guys that I'll be like, does this make sense? And they'll be like, no. And I'm like, okay. But I primarily write those myself, And so I like doing the research for that. And so that's a fun thing. But I think like once it's done and out there, like I'd rather hire people to like a PR.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish I could hire somebody that could sit on TikTok or whatever all day.
Do you have TikTok?
Yes, but I would say my Instagram is more what I
Sure.
focus on, and everybody keeps saying you got to do this TikTok, but it's just like what you said. You got to do it every day.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm much more. I stand by what I've put out, but I'm quality over quantity for sure.
Yeah.
And it sounds like what you're saying is to break in, you got to have that quantity.
On TikTok, you do.
Yeah.
Because I do my
Just
own
a part of
Instagram.
it, right? The algorithm.
You have to.
They're set up in a certain way.
But I don't want to
like
blow
a
it out.
game of double dutch. You got to like.
But it also has to be quality
jump in
content.
there.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Like,
I will tell you, because the Bourdains, people were like, and very sweetly, everyone's recommending me what I should do next. And we have one we're shooting on Monday that's going to drop soon. But it's like, I want people to be surprised by them. And I don't want to do like Bourdain at McDonald's.
Right.
And like very sweetly, people have reached out and
Although
be like,
I would love.
they
to
got
see
cool
that.
recommendations. Yeah, of course.
what's funny is brands have reached out to be like, will you come and do our restaurant?
Oh yeah.
But I said, I was like, I don't like, I'm a huge Anthony Bourdain fan. I just
Yeah, me
re-listened to him whenever I'm like going to do a video, I just put on Kitchen Confidential or one of his books, just so I could like hear him. And I never get tired of the stories, how many times I listen to it. Totally. But, I really just enjoyed him as a person. And so I'm doing it because I think people enjoy it, but I'm not trying to get brand deals out of it. Like there's other stuff that I'm doing that I would love to get it. But for him, it's like, I'm sacred about it just because I really, I don't want people to ever, like, I'm not trying to leverage.
I think that's good karma, though. You know, so many people, like, that's off the top. That's what they would go for.
And
you know,
people are very nice about it, and I'm very appreciative. But
yes, of course.
I think for like I would do Sam Elliott for Tampax. By the way, if you're listening,
that he would do.
So good.
I mean, I'm telling you, I had so many written out that we were going over them. Like my buddy and I were just like bouncing ideas off each other. I'm like, what about this? What about this? And they, on paper, they were all making us laugh. Like, but then in the execution, you know, people don't, there's an ownership the way that people, you know, that certain people, I'm trying to think of like who people are, it sucks because it's all politically today. It's like the way that if you say something negative about Trump, people that love Trump are like, you know, there is a, Anthony Bourdain was like a cult-like figure in a way that people really, I think he did a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, people write comments, you know, actually the Today Show reached out when I did the first Costco video, and they did an article. It was really nice. And the guy who he followed, he covered Bourdain when he was alive. Oh, wow. And it was, we talked and we shared stories about, and he talked about how he knew how Bourdain had impacted people's life in such a positive way. And, you know, I think to find something that people care about, even if they don't, even if it's like that's what TikTok is. People have to care about what, that's my assessment of it. It's like, it's brain rot, but that they, even if they care about it on a drug level, where like, if somebody goes like, if I ever see this woman, you better fucking believe I'm going to give her the biggest hug. It's like the hooks, you know, like they're addicted to that like hook. So they care about hooks, whether they know are aware of it or not. And so people just don't care about at least that demographic.
Sam Elliott.
That's
Totally.
it.
But it's also just they're young. It's a younger.
No, that's what I mean. I
audience,
agree.
And they don't know who he is or whatever. Is it annoying for me to ask to hear a little of it
of Sam Elliott?
If of either,
I wonder
Bourdain,
if
Sam
I would. He would say, "I wonder what the."
God, what did I say? I would go.
When you're riding across the plain and you're starting to leak your own trail of tears, grab yourself a Tampax Patriot.
I mean, that one I think did
in the Brotherhood, where he goes, they keep you loaded and comforted from sea to shining C cup.
I mean, we did, it was all, that was like, they were all paid. It was just like America and women. And it was all like positive for women. But
how long have you been doing? How long have you been doing Tom Hanks? Because Tom Hanks.
Thank you. I did it for
Tom Hanks is real good.
Thanks,
it's
man.
Real good.
I did it for a while, but I didn't have an outlet for it. And then I did it in stand up, and then because I was trying to think of, for a long time I did just impressions, right? Mm-hmm. So I do an hour of impressions on the road, and then I wanted to do other stuff, so I stopped.
Hour of impressions.
That's a lot.
I was a much younger man.
Yeah.
I mean, your voice gets real tired.
Yeah.
I had to drink like a pitcher of water because you're going all over the place,
tea and everything. Probably
it's just like, it's just so much output.
Yeah.
2 hours a night, 5 shows in a row,
and to switch back and forth.
Yeah.
It's hard to just go.
Yeah. And so I love doing that, but I realized that like people, I wasn't connecting with people, which is, you know, I love Daniel Tosh, and maybe I don't know his work well enough, but I think he doesn't really talk personally about a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And Robin Williams, who's like or Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield lied his entire life on stage. He was a beloved guy who had a great marriage. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Pablo Francisco, who I'm blessed to call a dear friend.
One of the best.
One of my favorite people in the world. We're
Yes.
doing co-headlining shows together now. We're trying to put together something. So he's one of my favorite people, and I grew up loving him and admiring his talent.
Yeah,
and you know, he's not nothing he says is personal.
Oh my God.
He's not talking about his girlfriends or his father.
Entertainment purposes,
about
and
his
it's
life.
like,
And I love that, and we BS about that all the time.
Yeah.
And so I started getting really personal with my stuff, and I talk about my family and my brother and maybe some relationships that I'd been in. But then I didn't like that stuff as much. Yeah. So, and then people would come up to me after the show and they would say, where are the impressions? Yeah. And so I started doing micro impressions.
Okay.
to sort of build back into it. Because I like the organic flow of being personal, because that's what I'm always, whenever I hear somebody like a Bargatze or like a Andrew Schultz, they're so good at being personal and personable, and you're like, wow, you're really taking me there. So I love that, but it's harder to do that when it's not your journey of Mark Wahlberg or Seth Rogen or whatever. Yeah. So I tried to balance the two, and I brought in Tom Hanks, giving my opinions about him, just being like, I really love this guy, because he's somebody that I've admired my whole life. And I tried to do it with that. And then I brought out the Tom Hanks, and then I started doing it on stage, and I go, what impressions can I do that maybe people aren't used to hearing on stage? And so that one was like a big one where people were coming on.
Solid.
Can we?
Let me see if
I'm sorry.
Carlisle, he's not a jukebox.
I know. I just love it so much.
You're like, but do you think maybe after that?
Let me see. Hi, I'm Tom Hanks here. Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Oh. I learned him from is, you ever see the movie The Burbs? You ever see the movie The Burbs?
Dude, you know what? I didn't. I want to. I think
Bro.
it's on Netflix now, right?
Bro.
Is it good? Is
No,
it amazing?
It's amazing. Okay. It's Tom Hanks, the guy who plays Art, the Bruce Dern, who is one of my idols of all time. He's the war vet. Corey Feldman is unbelievable. Carrie Fisher. Damn, but there's the end when there's like an explosion. And Tom Hanks, one day the way I learned it was, I was watching The Burbs, which I saw in the theaters with my family when I was a kid. It's truly stuck with me today. They're actually redoing it as a TV series that Seth MacFarlane is executive producing, and Keke Palmer is playing the Tom Hanks part. It's going to be on Peacock.
Oh, no way.
It's crazy. I got a chance to read the pilot. It's awesome. But
sick. Okay.
But Tom Hanks comes out at the end, and he's just like he has been hit. Remember like Robert Downey Jr. at the end of Avengers Infinity War, when he's like, if you throw another moon at me, I'm going to lose it. That's like, that's what it is. Like a moon has been thrown at Tom Hanks, and he just goes like, oh, take me to the hospital. Oh, Carol, take me to the hospital. And like, I heard him do that when I was an adult. And I was going online just being like, let me just hear clips of him as a young guy. And then I heard him do, when he was on Saturday Night Live, he did the intro and he goes, hi, I'm Tom Hanks and I'm hosting SNL this week with musical guest Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I listened to that 1,000 times. And I go, I bet I can get this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it was just like, it popped into my head.
That's sick.
And I was just like, because I love The Burbs. I don't seen his movies, but I truly love The Burbs.
Yeah.
And he did that thing where he was like, how? And he hit.
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's it.
That's cool.
Is he aware of your impression?
No, but
he needs to hear.
A lot of my...
Gotta get him in
Can we
the
get
know.
it Chet? Chet might be easier.
So I used to do it. Here's my impression of Chet Hanks.
Chet,
Here's my impression of Chet Hanks, and him being like, ha ha, me love Red Stripe beer. One person out of 1,000 in a crowd would be like, got it. And I'm like, yeah, that was for you, buddy.
Clip it.
Yeah, clip it. Yeah. Smoke the ganja. But it's like, people know Rita Wilson. Like,
yes.
And
Rita
so
Wilson.
friends of mine will be like, more than once, people have said, I'm going to call Rita. Will you leave a voice message for her?
Oh, no.
And I was like,
no,
that is not.
She would love it.
Excuse me. I bet Tom would. I think he would find it. I mean, it's clearly flattering. I have like the best opinion of the man. I think he's the best. But I've never gotten a chance to meet him.
I think it's all about
cool.
that. You got to keep it flattering. Like I do Paris Hilton, that Paris Hilton enjoys. So that's nice because like
very nice.
A lot of people,
how did she hear your impression?
Through TikTok. She follows me on TikTok now.
Damn.
And that's my
cool.
only claim to fame.
Okay.
She's one of my
cool.
700 followers.
Nice.
And that's how I got on the show. I was on Cooking with Paris. With Paris Hilton and Whitney Cummings, your old boss, and Nikki Glazer.
Love them.
And I did the impression for her. It's not in the show. It did get cut, but she loved it. And I think it's important to like flatter the person.
So that was the hardest thing. When I got cast as a sketch show, they asked me if I did who I could do. They're like, just give us a list.
Right.
And then I go, I like everybody that I do impressions of, unless most of the time it's a political thing. It's not a Republican. It's not a Democrat.
Yeah.
It's somebody that I just don't agree with their ideals. And so the reason I don't like them is because you have to listen to somebody over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't a fan of Rush Limbaugh, not because he was a Republican. I just didn't like his ideas. Right.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to do a political impression when I auditioned for the Jamie show. And so that was the one I did. Cause I could do Trump, but like at that point he wasn't political.
Mm-hmm.
And I could do Obama, but it was going to be an urban sketch show with one white guy. They weren't going to have me play the
Totally.
white
One
half
white
of
guy
Obama.
plays
You didn't have to
Obama.
I had a sketch idea where they separated Obama into the white guy and the black guy, and then it was like and then I could do that, and then he was like doing but I was the whitest version, and he was the blackest version.
Right.
But like a yin yang.
Yeah.
And but they were like, don't do Obama. They're like, so I was like, do Rush Limbaugh, and I had to learn. Or they were like, I'm like, who do you do? I'm like, I'll do Rush Limbaugh. They're like, great. And that's tough when you have to listen to somebody that you sort of. So then I make them a character,
Right?
because then you're sort of like agreeing or disagreeing with them. Then you can sort of like make fun of. But I never say anything negative about the person.
Yeah.
Like even if it's well, Trump is an easy one, but even if it's Trump, it's like I never say that. I'm never like he's a racist or he's like a whatever. I keep it to the things that I would make fun of anybody else.
Totally.
Just so that it's on even, just because I'm trying to make jokes, I'm not trying to change anybody's minds about an individual. Just try to have fun about certain things about them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Makes sense. Keep it light, You don't want someone feeling all heavy and judgy with
also, it's
impression
like,
they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, also it comes from, especially like people in this business, like, people have very fragile egos, and, there's definitely people that I have done who have heard my impression who don't like it. I
Who's
know.
that?
I think. Well, I'd rather not say because
You don't have to say.
I'm still trying to get jobs I try to make it flattering. But there are two people in particular that I know who had to approve me for something, and the feedback was like, everybody liked you, but he got the final say, and they didn't like. He thought that you were making fun of him. And it sucked because both these people I admire greatly. Yeah. They were not Tom Hanks. They were not anybody. It's funny. They were not anybody that I've named so far on the podcast. But I'm like, damn, that really. One of them I learned actually for the role, and then I was like, and I had done his voice dubbing in other films.
Oh wow!
And then when they were like, they couldn't get him for something, they were like, we'd love.
They turned to you.
And then they turned to me to see if I could do it. And then he heard me and was like, nope.
Oh no!
But it's also like you took a job away from that person.
Well, he didn't want to do it.
He
Well,
didn't.
he
want to
skipped
do
over it. Yeah.
So they just
Makes
chose a
sense.
guy who didn't sound anything like him.
Oh, damn.
Which I go, you know what? Listen, he's very protective over his brand, his voice. God bless him.
Yeah.
It's none of my business. I was happy for the opportunity, and maybe I'll win him over one of these days.
Hell yeah! Well, man, you won us over today. This was awesome. This was
Yes.
fucking
Dude,
fun.
thank you so much
I
for having me.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Like,
so
truly.
much.
Yeah.
You got
Kite.
shows coming up. Like,
I do. When will this air?
what do you want to drop it? Drop it.
Well, probably Monday.
Yeah, I think that.
So you guys will have
next
just missed me
Yes.
at the Comedy Store in La Jolla.
I saw
will have
that.
been there all weekend, and you if you went, you loved it, and
Yeah.
if you didn't, you hated it.
He
That'll be
killed
awesome,
all
though.
weekend.
I'm killing.
Sure.
Destroyed it. We
I'm going to
already
be at Rooster Tea Feathers in May, which is up in the Bay Area.
Cool.
And I will be in St. Charles Funny Bone in April, I think 3rd week of April. Go to my website, jonathankitecomedy.com.
Let's go.
And then I'm on Instagram, Jonathan Kite, and then TikTok, The Jonathan Kite, because Jonathan Kite won't give it up.
Let's go, Jonathan Kite.
Jonathan Kite, give this man your handle, please.
Yeah, please. I mean, what are we doing here? People have one time this guy had jonathankite.com forever. By the way, I mean forever. Like since I was in college, I went to the University of Illinois.
Okay.
And it was at the time one of the most interconnected computer universities in the world.
Okay.
It's, you know, the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, of course.
So Hal, the computer, is from Urbana, Illinois in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that took place in the 60s, right? And so that's how connected the supercomputers were down there.
Yeah.
So Apple, when they got a deal with to come back to rebrand, remember they had those weird like fluorescent colored aquariums. This was like a long time ago where they were going to rebrand. They were going to be the cool computer for young
they
people.
They were hot pink.
Totally.
They were green.
That's
they
exactly.
were
They were blue. That's
yeah.
exactly right. And orange and
Files are
they.
inside
one
the
of those
computer.
so bad.
What's up?
The files are inside the computer.
Dude,
You know what I'm talking about?
this is floppy disk, bro.
Yeah.
And that was the porn we were watching. And we were clip it. And so what happened was they gave every lounge had a computer. They were fully there was computers, almost one for every student. Like it was that crazy on campus.
Damn.
And at the time I was like, we got a UIUC email address, but I wanted my own email address because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be using a college address if I'm like getting out headshots, you know, as an 18-year-old kid the last time I took them.
Yeah.
And so I went to I need a website. I was going to design a very crude website my sophomore year.
Nice.
And JonathanKite.com was taken by a guy in England who was a Reiki healer.
Shut the hell up.
And his website said, coming soon. It is 2025. It is the same fucking website.
It's still
waiting.
coming soon.
And I reached out to him when I got Broke Girls. My PR team reached out, and he said he would give it to me for like $10,000.
Oh my god!
And I was like, "What, dude?" Yeah. So
Damn,
yeah.
dude.
So
Well, that's not cool.
that's
like
crazy.
The opposite of cool, dude.
Yeah.
What the Reiki healing? So a lot of weed smoking going on, I'm sure. You know,
I mean, he doesn't seem like a very tech savvy guy.
no, but he set it up so early on, like the website.
So-
he
bro,
grabbed
he
it.
was
squatting
right on
it
the cutting
immediately.
edge, but
Dude, what the hell?
He probably got like LeBron.com and
He got
like,
all of it.
Well, I mean,
Making
it's
a killing.
it's crazy. He makes a killing. So I was just like, nah,
awesome.
fuck it. So I have JonathanKiteComedy.com.
Okay.
I think that's better.
Well, it's also like I don't put anything on there except my comedy.
Okay.
So like everything else, like my acting stuff, it's like I have other, you know, like places for people to go see that, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But that's just like for stand-up dates and stuff like that.
That's
but
great.
Yeah.
Man. Hell yeah.
Everybody go check that out.
Thank you.
Hang gang, go see Jonathan Kite on the road.
Thanks for tuning in.
Soon.
Thanks again, John.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you for
being
having
here.
me.
You the man.
Peace.
Later.